FBI catch Dexter Morgan, aka the Bay Harbor Butcher, in real life? That's what we're about to find out together. Let's get into it.
Could Dexter Morgan outsmart the FBI in real life? Now, I've done videos before like, could Patrick Jane catch these fictional serial killers, or could Dexter Morgan beat these fictional serial killers? But today, I want to flip it. Let's ask a bigger question, because if Dexter Morgan was to be real, not like someone that's inspired by him, not like a lookalike copycat in real life, but if the actual TV version of Dexter were to become a reality, could the real FBI that we have currently in America actually catch him? Or
Okay, before we go any further into the video, I want to know you guys, the viewers' thoughts on this situation. Do you think that the FBI would actually be able to catch Dexter Morgan? Or do you think his crazy plot armor that he has in the show would transfer into real life and he would somehow be able to wiggle his way through the surveillance of the FBI and get away with all the stuff he does? I'm interested to know, so put it down in the comments.
could he slip through their fingers the way that he does in the show? Because I actually want to see, is this character actually as smart as he's written? Now, remember, Dexter is fiction, and writers who write fiction can obviously bend reality to however they want to keep the character alive, or to, kill off the character, whatever they please. But if we strip away that plot armor and compare what Dexter does in the show to how the real FBI operates, would he actually stand a chance? And that's what we're going to be breaking down today. Now, here's how I will structure this video. I'm sure all of you remember in season 2 of Dexter, the FBI comes into Miami Metro to investigate the Bay Harbor Butcher case, led by Special Agent Frank Lundy. But instead of that fictional task force, let's imagine that the case was picked up by the FBI that we have today, with modern profiling, tech, and resources. So basically what I'm saying right now, season 2 of Dexter is real life. Red flag number 1, Dexter's social behavior. Now, the first big thing the FBI would notice right away is Dexter's behavior during conversation. Now, this is something the show hides from us with his inner monologue.
For real, bro. Like, Dexter during some conversation was just like weird as hell. Because like somebody will be like sad and like crying and looking for like comfort from Dexter, and Dexter will be like what's going on? I don't even understand these emotions. Like, why are you doing this in front of me? Why are you expressing yourself this way in front of me? Like, what do I do? And then he just does something random, like, oh, make a silly face and like act like the person who's crying in front of him is a little kid, like a literal baby that he's trying to entertain or something like that. And that's just off. Like, that's one of the things that if you notice, you're like, bro, how didn't the people in the show not notice this like way earlier? But at the end of the day, it's still a show, it's fiction and all that. So
When us, the viewer, watch Dexter, we hear his thoughts, and we understand why he pauses and why he doesn't react the way most people would in real life. But in real life, nobody else would hear his inner monologue, because, we're not telepathic. So from another person's perspective, Dexter would come off as awkward at best, and deeply unsettling at worst. Think about how many times in the show someone makes a joke, shows emotion, or even expresses grief towards Dexter, and he just stares at them in complete silence with zero emotion on his face, not even blinking at times, while simultaneously talking to himself in his head. Now, on screen, it doesn't seem too weird because, we're just in his head and the whole entire show is told by Dexter's POV, but if you remove that, Dexter looks like someone who is constantly pretending to be normal but never quite pulling it off. And that's exactly the kind of behavior the FBI's behavioral analysis unit is trained to notice. They look for individuals who struggle to display genuine emotions, mimic reactions they've learned instead of actually feeling them, which is exactly Dexter, and staying oddly calm in situations where most people would be upset, nervous, or empathetic. And Dexter,
so far, things are not looking good for Dexter. So what I'm hearing is that the behavioral analysts in the FBI are very good to the point where they'll be able to tell and see right through Dexter's acts and understand that he doesn't actually like feel the emotions he's expressing and stuff. He's just mimicking what he's seen from others because he can't actually feel those emotions. And so far, I don't know, man. It sounds like Dexter might get caught by the FBI, but let's wait until the end to find out.
Checks every one of those boxes. His facade works on his coworkers for a while since it's a fictional show and the writers want them to not actually know who Dexter really is. But if this were real life, it would be a completely different story. And that's why Dokes was on him so early, because it seems like he was the only realistic character in the show. And if Dokes could pick up on that by just a gut instinct, imagine a team of FBI profilers. Sure, some fans argue that Dexter's behavior could just be explained by autism, but the difference is that autistic people still feel emotions. They just express them differently. But Dexter doesn't feel them at all. I mean, Dexter even admits this in the pilot episode.
People fake a lot of human interactions, but I feel like I fake them all.
So even before any forensic or any evidence come into play, Dexter's social behavior alone would start to raise red flags, and honestly would kind of make him a suspect. Red flag number 2. Now, you might not think this, but this is Dexter's biggest mistake. On the surface, his job as a blood spatter analyst is the perfect cover, because who would ever suspect that the Bay Harbor Butcher works for law enforcement? Well, I mean, in season 2, they found that out. But even when they found that out, I didn't even think it was a blood spatter analyst at all. They didn't even give that a chance. They even found his blood slides. Obviously, they didn't think it was Dexter's because, you know, Dokes had it in the back of his trunk, but I mean, they didn't even look in Dexter's direction at all. I feel like this would make him a prime suspect, because every time a new body turns up, Dexter is right there in the middle of it. In the real world, this would be seen as a serious conflict of interest. The FBI would ask the obvious question: why is this one analyst so close to cases connected to the Bay Harbor?
That is so true because he was like all around the cases connected to the Bay Harbor Butcher. Like he was always there regarding cases that involved the Bay Harbor Butcher. And also, I do believe that if he was like in real life, he would have been active for a long time before he started getting investigated by the FBI. Because in the show, you would notice that they weren't onto the Bay Harbor Butcher until they found all those trash bags in the ocean, and then they started investigating who committed those murders. But like until then, like if that was like a real life situation, that probably means that Dexter would have been active for maybe like a couple of decades even before the FBI started investigating him. Sorry, I'm a little sick right now.
Butcher. And wouldn't it make sense that this blood spattered analyst would keep blood slide trophies? I don't know. And they compare that with his awkward behavior right off the rip. Now, the show even proves this in season 7 when Maria LaGuerta reopens the Bay Harbor Butcher case. She looks back at the old files and notices the killings that stopped right after Dokes died. And she also found the blood slide. That's how she reopened this case. She also connects Dexter's boat to the dump site where the bodies were found. Like, all of this came from normal police work without the advanced resources the FBI have. Like, if Maria LaGuerta could get that close with just a hunch, then a full federal task force would have almost no trouble in making the same connections. Because throughout the show, there are so many characters that even publicly say, Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher, guys. Please believe me. And guess what? Every single person that's working with him is like, nah, it couldn't be him. It's actually James Dokes. I don't know why everybody is always saying, yo, Dexter, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. It doesn't like give them a feeling that, wait, maybe they're up to something. Because the one thing Dexter cannot control is other people. Sure, in the show, there's plot armor to where the characters never go that far with that information, but this is real life we're talking about, and this is where he would probably get caught the fastest in real life. Now, throughout the show, many characters either figure him out or, you know, come close. Dokes knew something was off from the start, then found out he was the butcher on the docks. Even Deb found out the whole truth by walking in on him killing Travis Marshall. Then when Batista and Maria LaGuerta opened the Bay Harbor Butcher case, and then they both unfortunately died. I mean, these are no coincidences, and it feels like a lot of people who actually try to figure out that, you know, there might be something up with Dexter, usually always, well, not always, they have a 100% success rate in finding out who Dexter truly is, but they just can't live to see another day to actually expose.
Yeah, so true. I can only think of one person who actually lived after finding out who Dexter was, and that would be like after finding out who Dexter was by investigating him and trying to expose him, and that would be that one cop that he was dating in the Dexter New Blood show. Yeah. But she even like she got traumatized to the point where like she didn't want to even see him anymore. She's like, get out of my life. I'll get out of yours. And then that was it. But she does know that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. So
them. Now, one of the best examples is Stan Liddy in season 5. Now, Liddy was not just a master detective at all. He was just a washed up ex-cop working as a private investigator because Joey Quinn thought Dexter was up to something. I mean, bro, if Joey Quinn notices that there's something up with Dexter, bro, I mean, like, honestly, that's no offense. Joey Quinn kind of is one of the worst detectives there is in Miami Metro. So if he knows something is up with him, come on. I mean, a whole team of FBI will easily figure out that something is up with Dexter. And yet nothing more with basic surveillance and digging, he discovered Dexter's secret relationship with Lumen and even caught them with trash bags on a boat with video proof. Now, this is some of the most solid proof of Dexter being the Bay Harbor Butcher. This guy literally is on his boat dumping trash bags into the ocean. Like, that was a huge slip for Dexter, and it shows how truly fragile his...
here's a question I want you guys to answer in the comments. If you had someone in your life who you frequently saw who was like, let's say, like the same as the way Dexter is, like they do what he does and they act the way he does, do you think you would have been able to suspect something was up with them or not? Let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious to know the answers of you guys.
cover really is if he were to be a real person. Because imagine what would happen if the real FBI had their eyes on him. They could run wiretaps, follow him with teams around the clock, track his car with GPS, and monitor his financial and phone records. Now, I know a lot of them already did that in the show, but when Dokes was trailing him, he literally let it be known to Dexter that, yo, I am following you, and sometimes he didn't even follow him for the full day. The FBI would have 24/7 surveillance on Dexter. Even when he's asleep, there would be people outside his house. That alone, I'd probably bet that Dexter wouldn't even know. Well, I can't just say that, honestly. I feel like he would know, but still, it would be hard to do his killings if they were on him 24/7. Because every late night trip, every suspicious purchase, and every missing hour would pile up as evidence until there was just no way for Dexter to explain it. Just as he had to come up with excuses to where he was all night when Rita would ask him, yo, hey Dexter, where did you go all night? But also, Dexter is very intelligent, as we've seen in the show, so I have to give credit where credit is due. It would take some time for the real FBI to catch him, but inevitably, I just have no doubt in my mind that Dexter, if he were to be real, because I'm basing how Dexter would operate as we've already seen in the show, with everything we've literally seen through his feats, through what he does, his inner monologues. Now, if Dexter was actually real in real life, he probably wouldn't, have those inner monologues, but we really don't know for sure because this is really all we know of Dexter. So I'm kind of at a dead end here of what to do with Dexter and how his show feats would carry on into real life. It's kind of hard to really say that because I don't know for certain, so how would I speak for Dexter Morgan if he were to be real? So what is my estimate on how fast Dexter Morgan would get caught? He does have ways to counteract law enforcement, slip through the cracks. He does this every single time in the show. Let me give a time frame. I think realistically it would maybe take 6 months to a year for Dexter to be caught. If
That is way shorter than I expected. Do you guys think it would be that short? Like, or do you think it would take longer for the FBI to figure out who he is? But from what I've seen from the show, I think it would take longer. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think it would take longer because Dexter is very cunning. So I think it would take longer.
they knew about the Bay Harbor Butcher case. Because as we all know, in season 2, they only knew about the Bay Harbor Butcher after he did all of those killings. So Dexter in real life could be active for killing for many of years. I'm talking about the chase in this situation. Once they build up a case and profile of the Bay Harbor Butcher, now they need a suspect, and this is basically what I'm saying. It would take 6 months to 1 year to get Dexter Morgan behind bars if the Bay Harbor Butcher case was already made. But if Dexter were to be in real life, I feel like he would be killing for maybe decades, honestly.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. So the conclusion we came to is that yes, Dexter would be caught by the FBI in real life, but it would take some time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any thoughts. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.